Good morning!
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Mayor's Monday on WSAU.com with Wausau Mayor Robert Mielke.
Good morning, Wausau and Central Wisconsin.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to start off with a tough one.
Okay.
Right? I was talking with Marathon County Administrator Brad Carger. Mr. Carger believes that there are now three people, or not three people, but there are now three camps when it comes to the idea of using Marathon County dollars to help the town of Texas and the village of Maine in their I believe it's the second lawsuit that the city of Wausau has put against them. Not necessarily the first one with Maine and Wausau, the struggle over the landowners, but more the issue of the partnership that they have formed to take on the tax, the dollars for Brokaw to take on their debt. Mr. Carter said that there is a school of thought in the county board that the city of Wausau's strategy, so to speak, in this situation is to wait out Maine and wait out their money so that Wausau can just win by default. I guess, do you see...
I don't see it being that
any valid standpoint there?
The reason why this lawsuit was taken on in the first place is a basis of principles. You got those folks that do want to annex over to Wausau, collaborative boundaries and stuff like that. Unfortunately, there's been bad blood between the city and the village of Maine for a long time, long before I got here. Unfortunately, this is just creating more of that situation, which ideally I wish we would get out of. Olive branches have been put forward as far as, can we find some way to resolve this, get this taken care of? Council is looking at it as far as it's a basis of principle. This is the reason why they're still going forward with the lawsuit. And I cannot and will not override council and their desires. But overtures have been made numerous occasions on my part to find some type of resolution, to try to work with one another. Ideally, I hope we can, and yeah, I'm going to have some people say out there, well, you're suing them. Well, ideally, I wish we could get out of it in that sense as far as trying to be a good neighbor. But it's been a long building issue, and there's principles involved going back to meetings from 2 years or so ago. Council wants to proceed forward with that, and I have to support them on that, and I will.
There's been a question raised, and I saw it on one of our comments on our Facebook page. Basically,
always an interesting bunch.
Because they're suing, because the city is in a lawsuit with the village of Maine, maybe that might be why they're not returning your phone calls. Can they even return your phone calls on this matter?
No, unfortunately, no. It's through the lawyers. So
okay. So when you reach out to them,
that time has passed.
Right.
It's been a while now, to be fair, but they're not bad people. I understand. I try to understand everybody's point of view, that type of thing. But coming from the city, I have to support our council and their decision and why they want to proceed forward with it.
Sure.
And I will.
The city recently awarded the room tax money to the people who've applied for it. A lot of it going to Wausau events. I think the bulk of it going to Wausau events for the balloon rally and that
Correct.
Sort of thing. Room tax
Grand
is something...
Theater, Riverfront District, stuff like that.
Sure. Room tax is something collected by the city on, hotel stays primarily. Just so people are aware, let's say I wanted to apply for a room tax grant next year. What kind of an event would that have to be? I mean, can it be just anything?
Well, obviously, and this is the first year that we've done this. This is something that people know might be happening for about 3 years now. The Walker administration kind of put it out there, cities to do your own thing. And this year, we took advantage of that. It's a brand new commission. Excellent people on it, a combination of some private individuals and also some council members who see the overall big picture as far as how nonprofits, their performance as far as different events and how it's going to help Wausau be unique. The thing is, we're really abundantly blessed with a group of nonprofits that really do bring a lot of good things to Wausau. And in that sense, it's kind of hard to figure out, okay, this, that, who gets what. But there is a little bit more accountability now than there was before. Somebody new wanting to come on board, they can always bring their presentation. We'll be doing it in the spring. We'll also be doing it in the fall, twice a year. Next time, I think it's going to be coming up in late August, September for some different things coming on. I know the Mielke Woods and Art Museum's got events coming up at that time. So, we're trying to decide and figure it out as far as what money goes where at what time of the year, where it's most beneficial. Wausau area events, and it's not a favoritism type of thing or anything like that, but you tried to make a determination what nonprofit brings the most bang for the buck, if you want to call it for that, in our city. And I guess that's what we're trying to do. I know this year, for example, we're having the Hmong Festival in July. They applied for a grant, they got it. They also applied for a grant with the Central Wisconsin Visitors Bureau too. So, it's always open. It's just that, frankly, there's going to be more accountability for it now than what it was before.
The issue of the wheel tax, or the potential wheel tax in Wausau, was one that was big around election time. You asked the voters, can we do this?
We did it the right way.
They said no.
Big surprise.
Now it seems that transportation funding is not going to be an easy question at all for anybody. In the Assembly, they're even considering taking it out of the main state budget entirely and working on it as a separate bill, because it's got there's so much heat. There are so many Assembly members that want to essentially raise a tax so that they can pay for the roads.
Sure.
But Governor Walker refuses to sign off on that sort of thing. Now, obviously, they can override him, but that doesn't happen much here in Wisconsin.
Right.
So I guess my question would be, because transportation funding still hasn't quite been figured out, is a wheel tax or something like that still something that the city of Wausau is maybe looking for?
We did that last year, and we did it the right way. One, we made 10 public presentations, numerous media granting requests between myself, Department of Public Works Director Eric Lindman, showing exactly what was needed, and then our Finance Director, Mary Ann Grote, sharing the finances on everything. We tried doing it in the right way, and we insisted that it be brought forth in a referendum type of thing for residents to make that decision. Well, like I said, big surprise, it didn't pass. Will we be doing that in the future? No. I will not do that again. I'm not, frankly, going to waste my time, because I know it's just fairly or unfairly, you've got the naysayers out there. You got to spend money better, that type of thing. And it's not as easy as people think. You take something from one priority, and everybody's got their little wish list as far as, this is what counts, or this is what counts. I want this. You know what, folks? You can't get it for free. And I know I'm going to get beat up on this by some of your followers. So be it. They got to get in the real world. To be respectful. And I've spoken with both Senator Petrowski and Representative Snyder, great guys. They understand the problem. They understand the situation. And originally they had proposed that we were going to be, now is it going to be just Wausau, Marathon County, the entire region getting about 8% of a transportation budget. I still don't know what number that is and for what community, if you want to call it that. It is frustrating, frankly, that the governor, and he's got to know about this, and I'm not slamming him, but they've got to realize that, you've got a problem out here, folks. I'm not opposed, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't think tolls are the answer, because I'd love to get the Illinois people. I'm kidding when I say that, but seriously, It's a joke, everybody. There's different ways. They've got to start getting a little more realistic as far as the roads are getting poor. We hear this from businesses all the time, residents, that things need to be fixed. And I don't know what the reluctance is on some folks. That's their decision. I do know this for the city of Wausau. No, we're going to figure out a way to pay for our roads. Our Department of Public Works does an awfully good job as far as getting roads fixed and repaired and keeping within the budget. I'm actually amazed at the creativity of what they're able to do with so little what they've got. And I wish people would realize that.
Finally, and this one's a little bit more of a figurative question. It's been now over 1 year since you've taken up this office. You've been mayor for over 1 year in Wausau. Give me your favorite memory or your favorite thing that the city has accomplished.
I think we're moving forward in two different areas. One, and anybody can see it, economic development. Let's face it, we had problems here before. The image of the city had been hurt bad for various reasons and various individuals. This is the good news. Businesses that would not have come here before because they thought it was such a zoo atmosphere, they are interested in coming back. And you can see progressive development happening, or at least talks about it. The other accomplishment, I guess, and this was not just me, I don't want to make it sound like yay for me, everybody from the city council to city employees, department heads, and the mayor's office, we all realized that the image that we had before had to stop. It was hurting us. The toughest challenge I faced, and this is maybe something I should have probably said in the state of the city, but I wanted a positive message. The toughest challenge that I had faced was trying to get people to come back and want to work here at City Hall. We went through numerous job postings and interviews and stuff like that. And frankly, we weren't just going to hire anybody, if you want to call it that. One bit of good news, our new HR director, Tony Vanderboom, started this week. She's got her hands full, but I think she's going to be dynamite. I guess if it's a sense of happiness is after a year, because I hear from employees, council members, and once again, I don't want to make this about me, but it really has gotten better around here. It's a better image. I hear this from business and community and educational leaders. They don't have the drama and dysfunction that they did before. And we do it in an open and transparent manner. Anytime there's a publicly financed type of issue or some project going on, we have numerous press releases, roundtables, media, people know what we're doing. I've even heard from some members of the media that wouldn't have been like this before. I want to knock on wood, because never say never, but they say, you guys are so boring now. To me, that was the best compliment I could have heard.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a sense of accomplishment for all of us.
Last question. In the opposite vein, what's something within the last year as mayor that you wish you maybe could have done a different way?
Boy, that's really a good question. I wish I could get more funding for our city, be it through the state or the federal. There's no getting around it now. I've been here, it's going on 5 years between council president, and being mayor. And I've said this before, real quick, a shameless plug, but I love what I'm doing. And even on the days where it's a challenge, I still look at this as truly an honor and a privilege to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But just the same, the toughest thing, I wish I could get more funding, more help. I guess the part that really does kind of frustrate me, it's not just a freebie handout. It's money that we've already paid into the state budget. In particular, transportation is a perfect example. Since 2011, we've got about $1.4 million that we paid into it. We can never get our money back. And it isn't just Wausau, it's every other community in the same situation, because the state has to balance their budget too somehow. That, I think, is a little frustrating, and I wish people could understand that, it seems sometimes, I don't know if it's because of availability or whatever, most people I deal with are wonderful, or at least reasonable and rational, but there are some of those naysayers that have an answer for everything, and you know what? They don't know what they're talking about. They form an opinion, they think they're always right. I'll still be respectful to them and try to explain the situation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I guess that's been my biggest frustration, if you want to call it that, is that money I think that we are owed, we cannot get back.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.